Here's what I know to be true. Everyone leads in their life, in their work, in their relationships, whether they have a title or not. And this podcast is for those of you who felt invisible, underestimated, or like you had more to give than the world made room for. You know there's more in you, but maybe you haven't always had the space, the support, or the tools to show up fully as yourself. This isn't about pushing yourself to produce fake positivity or perfection. It's about dignity. It's about truth. It's about moving from surviving to thriving out loud. So take a breath, press play, and let's grow together. Welcome to Thrive Out Loud. There are friendships, and then there are ones that change you. The ones you see before you see yourself. The ones that hold your truth when you're too tired to carry it. The ones that survive heartbreak, bad decisions, growth spurts, identity shifts, and entire decades of becoming. We talk a lot about romantic love. We build movies around it. We write songs about it. But some of the most powerful relationships in our lives aren't romantic at all. They're friendships. The kind built on honesty. The kind built on safety. The kind where you don't have to perform. Today's conversation is about that kind of friendship. It's about what happens when two people choose to really see each other across differences, across seasons in life, across struggles. Because deep friendship is one of the greatest ways to get out of the swamp of just surviving, and we're the strongest catalyst for thriving. It's my honor to introduce to you my best friend, Sam Alick, who's been with me for over 45 years, and he is also my chosen family. So I have some great questions to ask Sam today. We've known each other for a very long time, as I've said, and we're going to tell you a little bit about that. I'm going to actually have you tell them about it. So how long have we known each other, and where were we in life when we first met? And then we'll talk about when we met again.
It was junior high, wasn't it? Junior high, like 8th grade, we were all state. Was it 9th grade? We were all
yeah.
state music, or all city choir, I think it was.
All city choir, yeah.
And that's where I first met Deb. And then we went to high school together, and we sang in concert choir. We were in the show choir, 12th and Main.
Yeah.
Was it 85th edition too?
Yes.
So knowing her all through high school, and then we went our separate ways in college. I went to Gustavus, you went to Concordia,
Yeah.
Didn't see each other really, and then reconnected again after college. But yeah, I've known you for a long time on and off, and we've drifted in our lives and out of our lives and in our lives again. So
Yeah. The time we drifted, like really drifted into our lives, was when I moved to the Twin Cities.
yes.
So I was working out in Greater Minnesota as a social worker, and then I got this great job in Dakota County, and I was lost. I didn't think I could live in a big city. I mean, I was from South Dakota, for goodness sakes, and so coming to the Twin Cities was scary. And so I did just decide one day, I'm like, I need a friend. So, like, who do I know? So I decided to look up Sam. So I got a hold of another friend of ours from in high school, and she knew his number. And so I just called him. And
I remember that night very well.
yeah, so just a little bit story about it. So when I called you, what did you say?
Well, you said, I don't remember. I just said, "Is this Deb?" You said, "This is Deb," and I go, "Deb, Deb Stanley," and you're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
And I'm like, now or in life?
And
He's
I
like,
said, "Right now."
right now. So I mean, that's all it took, was just like we got together.
And we hadn't talked in how long? It was how many years?
Gosh, at least 5,
Yeah.
maybe 6 years, I think.
And it was that instant. I just knew. I'm like, when I heard her voice, I'm like, "What are you doing?" I was living in St. Paul, and I'm like, "Let's now." And it was around 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
or
I was in
9:30
my
or 10.
PJs. I
Yeah.
was in my PJs. He's like, well, let's get together
I
right now.
wasn't.
Yeah.
I
It
wasn't.
was like,
But
okay.
and I encouraged her to meet me immediately. We went over to St. Paul on Robert Street, met tooled around in my little Jeep Wrangler, my
Yeah.
bright yellow Jeep
The little
Wrangler,
bright yellow, yeah, that was,
soft top,
yeah, love that.
and met her, and that was the beginning of reconnecting our friendship and starting a deeper relationship of supporting each other and where we were at and what we were doing. And I just immediately was like, let's go. Here we are.
Yeah, it it
This
it
is
it
life.
was, like, so easy. It was
Mhm.
so easy, and it was so needed for me. I mean, I truly was, like, lost in the Twin Cities. I was afraid to live there, and Sam, he just decided, like, "I'm gonna take you under my wing. I'm gonna show you the sights. I'm gonna take you downtown." I was like, "I don't wanna go downtown Hennepin Avenue. I've heard all kinds of crazy things about that place." And
And
it's
we
like,
had fun.
"Oh, no, no." So we had a great time.
Jazz clubs. We would take her out. I would call her up in the middle of late at night, 11 o'clock. Let's go. Change. Pick her up, and off we went to go out and experience the world and see what was going on. And it was just fun. That's it's Friendships are supposed to be fun. I mean, they're not always a lot of work, but they're just fun.
Yeah, and we had a lot of fun.
We did. We
We did.
experienced life.
And so, it led to eventually, like a year later, my lease was up and he was living with a friend of his, and I needed a place to live. And so the guys asked me to come live with them.
Yep.
So I did. And so we lived together for, gosh,
The 2 years,
I think it was 3. I think it
maybe.
was, yeah,
It
at
was a long
least
time
about
ago.
3 years that we lived together, and then, yeah, we separated again. But in those 3 years that we lived together, we really developed, like, we became fam.
We did.
We were just, he was there for me, I was there for him, and so that's when it, really blossomed for us. So, if you had to describe our friendship in 3 words, what would they be? Like, right now, if you were to describe our friendship, how would you describe it in 3 words?
Loving, honest, and thoughtful. We're very thoughtful for each other and what we do in our purpose in life.
Yep. And what do you think kind of made our friendship different from other friendships that we had?
Well, we were both struggling as we started out in our lives. I was still trying to figure out who I was. I wasn't out yet as a gay man, but I eventually came out. Yeah, I really understood it, but I was trying to figure it out and I wasn't comfortable with it. And then I think you were still trying to figure out where you were in your life too. And I think it helped us establish a balance that we both had a rapport with each other and understood and supported each other in growing.
You're trying to figure out our self identity,
Right.
right? Like, who were we in this season in our lives? And
Right. So that's what we
yeah,
did. That's what made us different than other ways that we clicked and we connected in many ways. And then it started that deeper bond and that connection with that. And we had, I feel like as if we were both struggling about where we fit in. And so we bonded that way and became a solid trunk of a tree until we actually grew up enough that we realized that we were able to grow separately a little bit and then have our own lives as well. Does
but
that
we
make
were
sense?
always, yeah, but we were always still connected.
Oh,
Like,
totally. I just
oh
not
yeah,
saying but you're just
yeah. It was
you're
like
able
that blossoming, like, your branches, our
you're s-
branches went
yeah,
off
you're
in different
symbiotic, but
directions.
then you move out and branch out in a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, why do you think we, like, felt safe together, or that we saw each other, we saw things in each other that maybe
Well,
nobody else did?
we're both empathetic. We're both and I knew I could sense with you, where you were at. You were uncomfortable in some things, and I was uncomfortable. But we both there's a trust. We trusted each other. We had fun with each other. We were able to talk to each other and challenge each other.
Yeah.
And at the same point, if it didn't work, we would argue it through or discuss it through, and then figure it out and move on with that then too.
I mean, I know I felt safe with Sam because, I didn't come from a feeling of safety as when I was younger, but, especially with men, I was always uncomfortable, and I did date a lot. And so to be with a gay man who just cared about who I was. There wasn't any kind of romantic stuff. We didn't have to worry about that. It
No.
was just, but you were safe as a man. I could, like, feel safe. And you took care of me, in ways that others didn't. And it was like you set me up for success to healthy, safe relationships with men
Thank you.
because I had you in my life. And I don't think I would have gotten to that place. I don't think I would have had the kind of relationship that I have with my husband now had you not been there.
You did the same thing for me. You really pushed me to understand, and I just knew that it's not even not knowing what's going on, you just feel it. You just feel it when it's natural and just gels together. You don't think about it. You don't have to question it. You just do it. And if it feels good, it felt good. And I always wanted to protect her, make sure she was good. I knew that she had some concerns about what's going on, but I just pushed her out. I'm like, you don't have time for this. We got to go out. We got to get things taken care of.
Yeah,
You got to handle it. We're going to meet people. Here's what's going to happen. You're coming
you
with.
totally got me out of my comfort zone.
But
I always
that's
thought I was really outgoing, but then it was like, no, not even close. Until I was hanging with Sam. He's like, let's go here. We can do this. I was like, okay.
and it was fun, but that's what we both did with each other. We both supported and nurtured each other to help each other grow and challenge each other. And along the way, we had fun along the way. And
Yeah.
it was just a good time, but it was also a very loving time because it was just watching each other grow and as we're stepping through things, we're going, stepped in this, but we're always there to grab each other. Or we're always, as you call me, the branch. I was always a branch for you.
He was always the branch that held it over the swamp I love to stay in every
Yeah.
once in a while. So there was always that branch. You'd pull me out. I'm like,
Yep.
let's go. Nope, I'm not going to do this anymore. You're going to get out. So, yeah, that was always the biggest gift to me.
We had
So, um, what what could we say to each other that maybe we wouldn't have said to most people?
oh. Um, we challenged each other and argued. I mean, there are times when I got angry at you and then I would be frustrated. We could be honest. We could be truly honest and talk about things and say this made me uncomfortable, this made me angry or frustrated, or I would just sometimes I didn't know how I was handling my own feelings.
Yeah.
And I would blurt out to you and get angry with you or get frustrated. And then you would challenge me back, like, no, 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 that's not how you speak to someone. This is how you do it. This is how you communicate with me. And I will not accept that, and it allowed me to create the healthy boundaries for you. So
Well,
then
and
it helped
I
me
got to
create
set
boundaries.
those boundaries in a safe way.
Yeah,
Because, like, nobody else accepted those boundaries when I was younger, but like, I could say that and you accepted my boundaries. So it was like I could practice that.
I didn't have a choice. Let's just be honest about that.
Yeah, I kind of made
But we
like
said it well,
back
and I
by
understood
then
it.
my boundaries were pretty solid. I
Yeah,
was like, nope, this is not gonna happen. But
but
yeah,
it would. But those are the things that we're able to say to each other is being honest and talk. And we can nowadays we can talk about our ups and downs in our lives. We can
yeah,
talk about our fears. We can talk about our excitement about our future, different things that are happening, and with our careers, with our family life, different things. We have all that opportunity because we are so comfortable that we don't have to worry about anything else. So it's just we can just blurt it out, talk, and know that we're in a safe space to not be judged
yeah.
and talk about it and understand it.
Well, and I think the over the years, one of the best gifts was, I mean, even our spouses gave us permission to kind of talk about things in our relationships because we were close enough where
Mhm.
we knew it wouldn't be in a judgmental way, but we just were trying to figure stuff out. And our spouses were okay with that. It's like, yeah, go talk to, my husband was like, yeah, go talk to Sam. There were questions that I could have with you that were, like, why does he do this? And you'd be able to answer that. And you'd be like, well, I don't know how I should be with my spouse around this. How should I communicate? And so, we were there to support each other even with that,
Right.
you know. Um,
It was very safe, very fun.
it was
But
safe.
we've built up enough of our friendship over the years that we've created that.
Yeah.
So
So how do we how would you say we handle conflict like with each other when we got really like upset with each
in the
other?
beginning,
Yeah.
um, you want me to tell that story about
Yeah.
the
Tell
phone
the
book?
story about the phone book.
So we were living in St. Paul when I asked her to move in with us. And mind you, it was without question I asked her to move in. I didn't think about it. I said, you just move in, come in, that's it. I didn't even think
That's
about
just
it.
kind of saying, Sam says, and
Yes,
you
and
just go
that's just
do
what
it.
it is. That's how I work. And there are times when I was working in just when I was working at the restaurant,
Yeah.
managing, and I was so stressed and busy, and I got angry at her for something, and I threw a phone book at her. And that's when we were talking about setting boundaries. She was like, "You don't ever do that to me. You don't ever do that to anyone." And she says, and it was one of the best lessons I've ever learned in my life that she taught me. And it was, she says, "I know you love me. I know you care for me. And I know that, what you did, you didn't mean to do it on purpose." But she said, when we lash out to other people that we care about, we know that they're not going to go away. So we feel comfortable enough to exert enough anger or frustration to them, knowing that they're not going to go away, but it's still not right to do that to them. So you and I set that healthy boundary, and you said, "Oh," and I'm going, and so every time I got further with some of those things, I've learned that I can't do that. Or when other people do it to me, I understand. I have empathy towards them, going, "Okay, I understand where you're coming from. You trust me enough and love me enough that you're frustrated with me, but at the same point, it has nothing to do with."
Right.
And so,
And you find a better way.
right,
Yep.
and that's how we communicate now. And what was the question?
It's just about how we handle conflict.
Oh, is that how we handle conflict?
Yeah, back then and now we just don't really have any conflict
No,
because we're such different people. We've both evolved so
we're
much.
established in our
We're
where
in
we
our
are,
50s. It's like yeah,
late
whatever.
50s.
Late 50s, we don't care. It's just a very different time. But I mean, we've had ups and downs, but again, we've just been part of our lot,
But
each other's
we're
lives.
both doers,
We're
and
both
there's
doing.
so the conflict is we push through it.
Yeah,
We don't dwell on it. You used to dwell
I
on it,
used to dwell on
as
it.
we called it. As she used to call it, the swamp.
Yeah,
No, she goes, "How long?" And I'd have to ask her. It's like, okay, so she taught me, how long are you going to be in the swamp? How much time do you need to be in there? What's going on? Now let's get out. But now it's, we were just doers. I was a doer, and I've always been a doer in my life. So we just handled, if it was a conflict, we pushed through it, we talked about it, or we just moved on until we were able to have a
right.
conversation afterwards.
Well, until we learned how to, do it
Right.
differently and think before we did. I think that was that thing we've learned over the
Yeah.
years is that we've learned to think more about, what
Being more
we're doing,
mindful.
be more mindful, be more thoughtful, be more strategic
Mhm.
in where we're going to put our time and energy. So,
Yes.
so what what's something you pushed me to become?
Mm. Um, Pushing you to become.
Let me say, I pushed you
Uh,
to
you can
to
tell the story.
which sorry.
Which one? There's many things she's pushed me to become.
Yeah, I think like I've I've pushed you.
The dancer.
Yeah, I've pushed you to go beyond your comfort zone because you were afraid that you weren't good enough or what you weren't okay to be who you are. And I made sure that you pushed yourself to be the confident gay man that you are. Because it was like, no, you get to be who you are
I
and you get to, get out in the world and experience
And you
it.
have to remember that was in the '90s,
Yeah.
and that was
Yeah.
post-AIDS, or during AIDS at the same point, and I was never comfortable of who I was because I didn't feel comfortable of where I came from and having the support. So you pushed me in ways to support me to be more comfortable with who I was, be more comfortable in what I was able to be if I wanted to look at someone and be comfortable with that and not be and not be
Not feel shame about
shame
it.
about it, good
Yeah,
word.
exactly.
Or to be comfortable with, like, my family on some things, and too, which you did an amazing thing and a gift to me that when, I had to come out to and talk to some people in my family, and then you were with me the whole time. You literally drove with me back to our hometown, and helped me through that and pushed me through what was most uncomfortable, and I was scared, and you were there the whole time. And that to me is a true friend, that who will always be there for you, and you establish that.
Well, and I wanted the people who loved you to see you the way I
Yeah.
did, to not have that be a barrier to the incredible human being that you are.
Thank you.
And I think that was part, like, I needed to be there to go, "No, you have, I get this is so difficult, but he's still Sam. He's still the wonderful man that you know him to be, and yes, he's gay, but so what?" You know?
What you did for me is sort of like what I was doing for you in the beginning and holding you high and holding a level for you so you had a solid platform to be off of. And that's how we balanced each other out and pushed. Supporting you was, like when your dad passed away and immediately I was like, where do I need to be? What's going on? I show up. Support is also about just listening to you. And support is also like running around and knowing when you need, like, for example, her wedding. She had me run her wedding
Yeah.
and she gave me a
I knew
clipboard
nobody
organizing.
else could do it but Sam.
And there were conflicts at the wedding, and I'm like, I handled it. The stress, I'm like, we don't tell her, we don't handle it. She just gets to be the fabulous person that day and do it. So then she had these wonderful memories. And after the wedding, and like, by the way, this is what happened. And I'm like, oh, okay. And but doesn't need to know because we just supported each other that way and took care of it. Is that about what you were
Yeah,
talking
you
about?
you were always there in the significant moments in my life just to support me,
Yeah. When you
you
had
know?
birth of your baby when Tessa
Mhm.
was born, I went
When
to the
I was
hospital.
laying there, yep, writhing around,
Yep.
yep, moaning like a cow. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is that sound?" I kept going, "What is that sound?" They're like, "It's
It's
you."
you.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is," But yeah, you were there.
Mhm.
You were there the whole time,
You
and
asked
in
and I
all
was
those big
there.
moments in life, you were there.
Yeah.
And my
That's how we
husband,
all were.
you supported my husband by being there because, the more people I had that could support me, the calmer he could be. And he could be right there with
I
me, and
love
he
him.
was.
He's a good guy.
He's the best man I know. Yep. So, how has our friendship made you braver, or shined a light on some of those blind spots?
As we've talked about before, it's allowed me to become confident in who I am, um, and to challenge myself on things where you start to shrink back in the shadows again, and then it reminds you to get back out into the shining, into the spotlight. Um, that's what's a really part of it is, and it's a comfort that we don't have to talk for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a couple months.
Yeah.
And then when I just need to talk to her, she needs to talk to me. We just call each other up, see how we're doing, and it's back there. And that's that's part of it.
Well, I think it's that part of, you're braver when you know that people are supporting you, and
Mhm.
you can make mistakes and you can do things that you wouldn't normally do, and maybe it didn't turn out the way you'd hoped to, but you know that person will coach you through it, that will support you in it, and they won't hold you small, they'll hold you, they'll hold
Well,
you
I've
higher.
called you a few times about some things with where I'm at in my life and different things with my stress. Sometimes I get with career, sometimes with personal, with family. Even when my dad passed away, I mean, you were there. You just knew you needed to show up, and that's it. That's a big part of it. Now I feel like we're at our point where we don't need it all the time like that.
Yeah.
It's when we were younger, yeah. Now it's like we're established. We're just moving on in our older age, and we're
We
pretty
just
cool.
get to do the fun stuff
Yeah,
together now. Like,
exactly.
I'm in Florida, guys, so this is why you're seeing a totally different background. Sam's like, "I kinda need to hang out with my friends." So I was like, "Okay, well, if I can find a decent enough price, I'll come," and he's like, We got it. I'll handle it. It'll get done." And so, of course, here I am in Florida. And so we were hanging out here for the past few days, and so that's why I have Sam on my podcast,
I
because I
work
thought,
down here. That's
"Let's do
why
it."
I'm
Yeah.
down here working for
So,
3.5 to 4 months.
yep. So Sam's working here, and I got to come and experience
Yeah.
it with him for a little bit. So, um, that's the other part about, having really good friends. It's like wherever they are, they're like, "Yeah, come join me."
Well, and
You know?
this house is, and everywhere I go, it's always been talked about. It's a dome of love. It's a place of comfort.
Yep.
I like to put out that energy, and that's what Deb puts out is this comfort of space that is comfort. It's a loving space.
Yeah.
And so I wanted my friends to come visit me because sometimes it gets a little lonely down here. And Deb was like, I'm all for it. And she's coming out. She came to visit me. Thanksgiving, you came around before Thanksgiving last year, you came
Yep,
to
I
visit,
took the train down to Chicago, yeah.
and it really means a lot to me because when you come, you would get to spend time, and I don't see her during the day. I'm at work, I see her at night, and then we hang out for a
Yeah.
few hours
I
and then
don't
up
need
to
to
bed.
be entertained at this
No,
point in my
and
life,
I
which is nice.
and that's beautiful, but that's what our life is like, that's what our friendship is about, and our relationship
Yep,
is
we can just
supporting, but
hang
just
with
having
each other,
fun.
do your thing, come back, let's
Yep.
hang together. Like I said, my husband's like, "Yeah, go see Sam." I mean, my kids are out of, the house,
Yep.
so now it's much easier to go and visit, and so now I get to do that, which
Hmm.
is so wonderful. So, what do you think life would have been like if we hadn't become friends?
I I think it would have been a lot harder. I think the struggle would have been a lot deeper and would have taken longer to get where we needed to be. I think I would have been questioning and making poor choices uh, to learn my lesson at that point, but it just would have been a lot harder and a lot more of a struggle. I think. I don't think
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't have experienced the kind of like safety and unconditional love and like the things that I needed to kind of set the um foundation for me to be in a long-term marriage. I don't think I would have had that had we not, you know, been together, had we not been roommates and really supported each other. I don't know that I would have had the same skill set.
you needed that.
I needed to know, like, that was possible and what it felt like to feel safe, so when I met my husband, I knew. Like, the second date we were on,
I remember that.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy feels like home." Like, "Okay, I'm either gonna get really hurt or this is gonna go all the way." I knew the second date. But I didn't the only other time I had that kind of safe kind of feeling was with you, with a guy. So it was like, I dated various guys that I had a really bad picker way back when.
Well, we all do. We
But
all
we
have
all
to
learned,
figure out how to
but
hone it in the
but
right way.
when I knew I had something to base it on, and I don't know that I would have known that had we not, created the relationship that we
Looking back
created.
on it now, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Back then, we really didn't understand that. We were just in it,
Right.
and we were in it to win it. We were in it to experience it,
Yeah.
and we didn't understand it until you look back. I mean, there's a lot of things in our lives that we don't understand until we look back on it and go, "Oh, this makes more sense why this happened." And it makes
And it was
sense.
all perfect.
It
It's like it
was.
was meant to be. It's
Yeah,
like, we just knew that was the right next step.
exactly. And that's the best part about that. But instead, we just never understood it. But growing where we're at now, it makes sense about what we were doing then.
Yeah. I was trying to think of, like, one of our funniest moments, and
There's a lot of funny moments.
well, and I think, when I think about our funniest moments, I think about those times when we were in our, late 20s and we were living together, and we'd have great parties with wonderful people, and then, of course, we drank too much, and I we never could remember who was drinking what. So I was either drinking your drink or you were drinking my drink, and by the time we were done, we were both so wasted that we could barely.
But we were socializing the whole
Yeah,
time,
we
and
were we were
what
socializing, but
what Deb never really experienced until she came with me to our house was we would throw parties, and it's not
yeah,
just
I never had parties. I mean,
well, I
I
didn't.
didn't even have parties as a kid, so it was like,
I worked in the bar industry, and so we had a lot of friends that did that, and then we just met people. And I'm natural. I like to meet people.
yeah,
I will naturally meet you and go, "You're going to be friends with me. Let's meet and
yeah,
let's hang out."
yeah.
And so we would have parties at the house, and it was like it would be 50, 60 people coming over, and we would have social parties and hanging out. And I liked that because I'm always busy running, so when we'd have the parties, we get to control it, we get to enjoy it, you know. And we had some fun times that with the drinks would be out there flowing, people talking, laughing, music playing. At
Yeah,
one
we were
point,
always safe, but it was just we
yeah,
just were able to just be free and have fun
yeah,
and really connect with all kinds of
yeah,
people.
and that's what it was. That's what it was always about. So it just pushed the boundaries that way, and that was the fun parts about it. Going out. Later in life, it was just going out to shows or going out to do something and experience something together. It was just that was our moment then. And then when you started dating your husband, it started pulling away a little bit, and then you started focusing on what you needed to focus on. And when I was dating someone, I needed to focus on what I was
Yeah.
focusing on.
Yeah.
And then we both came back at times and had our conversations together. But
Yeah.
it was
We
those
just knew we were always be there for each other.
those moments that we lived together. I think it was probably 4 years total, because
Yeah,
3 in
I think
St.
so.
Paul and 1 in St. Louis Park
Yep.
were the foundation that created the solid platform for us to dive off of into the deep end. And knowing we had a solid platform. It wasn't like bouncy all over. It was solid, and we knew that we could jump. And if we did jump, we always knew we could come back, and
Yep.
someone was going to be there for us.
Yep.
But that was the integral part of our friendship, that we created that, and we created that with many people in our group. So it wasn't just us; it was
No.
other people. But we had that support to really allow us to grow and flourish.
Yep.
And that was the most important part.
And I think that's the part where we could have, deeper friendships with all kinds of people because we knew what it took.
Mhm.
We knew what it needed. So, like,
You got to experience the gay part of life. I mean, that was a whole. You got to go to the clubs, the bars. You got to go to the bar and the parties, but you got to meet people that were completely fun, loving,
yeah,
had no judgment for you, wanted the
none
best
whatsoever.
for you.
Yeah.
And I got to experience that with you, and watching that and experience myself grow as well, to enjoy that and having fun for myself and creating these wonderful friendships that flourished, that you had your connections with from your work that I knew and I loved dearly.
Yep.
And then from me and being in the gay men's chorus and meeting people, and it was important. And so that's what we did.
Yeah, it was that part of just accepting each other for who we were, and there was no question.
Yeah.
It was like, duh. So we talked a lot about having a deep friendship and that, and I think we've covered a lot about what it actually takes to have that kind of friendship. But what do you think it really actually requires? I know honesty is a big piece of that, but what about honesty? What about it's that for me, it is I can tell you anything and I know it'll stay with you and you won't judge me for it. And I don't have to be something I'm not. And I can tell you like mistakes I've made
Mhm.
and you won't hold it against me. And, you know, what is that core or foundational bit of honesty, what does that mean, and what do you think that's required to have that kind of a deep friendship? Why is that honesty so important to you?
Well, I think honesty it's that level of safety, that that they're not going to go anywhere. And I've told you, and I've told you before. I said, I need you to be honest with me when you talk. And there are times you said, I was not comfortable telling you everything because you know you didn't want sure I wanted to hear it. And those are the things when I would get frustrated with you. I'm like, I need you to be honest with me. I want you to tell me where I'm at, some choices, if I'm making a smart decision or what I'm not doing. And that is the important integral part of our friendship, because we can be honest with each other and
Honest
know.
enough that even if you were to get so angry with me and you were to say, "I'm done," if I told you the truth that I thought you
Yeah,
needed
you
to hear,
loved me
just that
enough
I
to know.
loved you enough to tell you because it mattered.
Exactly. And that's the part when
And you do the same for me.
right. And that's we're honest enough to tell each other that, and not afraid that even if we let it go, our friendship, that we were the truthful all the way through at that point.
Right, right. And, I think that's what it takes is you love a person enough to, tell
Hmm.
them the truth. And if they can't handle it and they go away for a while, okay,
Yeah.
they'll come back. If
If
it's
they meant
really,
to.
if it, yeah, if they're meant to, and if it's really, foundational. So if someone's out there listening and struggling to feel like they belong or find, deep friendships, what would you tell them? How do you think they could start to get out there and stretch themselves to find that kind of friendship?
Here's what I do. Um, like if you be around one person that you're comfortable with, that you think if you can, or no one, just go up and say hi to someone. I, for example, I went on a cruise with friends 8 years ago, and it was in Europe on a gay cruise. And I went up to everyone, and my friends who are watching this, they'll know this about me. I went up to each person, and I was so confident, not even drunk. I was just sober. And I'd walk up to someone and I go, "Hey, what's your name? What's your name?"
Deb.
"Deb. Hey, Deb. I'm Sam. Nice to meet you.
Hey,
We're
Sam.
going to be friends. We're going to hang out.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go over here and do this." That's
Yep.
what I would do. And I met so many incredible people because everyone is so guarded and so nervous that, and if they aren't interested, they'll move on to the next thing. But the ones that are, they're like, okay, let's go and have a good time. And you create that relationship, you create that friendship around you. And we were talking about this the other night about tethering.
Yeah.
And you have people in your life that are tethered. It's like imagine an imaginary rope tied to you, and then it's to someone else. And then you're into other people and they're tied in, everyone's tight. But the only time it becomes tight is when it's that time to connect again. Otherwise, it's loose. You know, they're always there. That's how our friendship is. It's a loose rope, but at the same point, when it's time for us to connect again, it tightens up and we're ready to go and connect. So, for someone who's trying to figure out what to do, I say just step out of your boundaries a little bit, take a risk, because you know what? They can say is no.
Yeah.
And then you just move on to the next
I think
thing.
that's the key is to have a meaningful relationship, no matter whether it's friendship or romance or any of those things. It takes risk.
Mhm.
You have to risk it working out or it not working out. You got to risk both.
And you have to be okay with either outcome and just go, okay, then move on. It's not fun sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all,
Um,
happy games. But it can be a fun time, and depending on the situation you're in and just putting yourself out there.
you get stronger and stronger each time you put yourself out. Yep. So, what do you hope that we're still doing to get together at the age of 80?
Golden Girls.
What's that mean?
Uh, Retired, living together, or
We're
being
close
close to each
by.
other.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't know if she's still with her husband at that point. I don't think we'll want to be living together,
yeah. Well,
but having a great time and experiencing life and talking and laughing and playing dominoes or playing cards. Once in a while, getting together like this, coming down to visit if I'm going to be down here, and just doing
telling
it.
the brutal truth. Like,
Yeah,
you look old today.
yeah. You look like shit.
You look like.
But it's we wouldn't even do that. Yeah, we would.
Yeah, we would.
Um,
That'd be okay because that's just
but we're laughing about
we
it.
laugh about it. Yeah.
That's what I think in my 80s is I want to be having a healthy, fun relationship with you and with my friends, and having fun and just being not so serious about things
Well,
and
our
doing.
filters are already starting to go, but
Yeah,
can
they
you
are.
imagine what our filters would be like when we're 80?
Mm,
I could just see us sitting on a bench going, "What are those people
yeah,
doing?" I mean, we just feel like,
we become the crabby old people.
the cra what the heck?" Yeah, I
But
can
no,
see
at,
it.
at 80, that's what I see. I mean,
Yeah,
what do you see?
I just see us just laughing, having a great time. I mean, even if we aren't close by, just getting on the phone going, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Like, "When are we seeing each other? Let's get together." Or, "You come here." And you'll be like, "No, I want you to come. No, Sam, you're coming to my place this time." You know,
We'll see.
he doesn't like to, he likes everyone to come to his space because he loves to take
Control.
care of everybody.
Nurture,
But I was
control.
like, sometimes other of us like to take care of you because you deserve to be taken care of sometimes too.
True. Thank you.
So suck it in, suck it up.
Yes, ma'am. At
So,
80 years of age, who knew?
yeah. So again, filters will be gone, but boy, are we gonna have some damn
We're gonna have a great time. I don't have a doubt with that.
fun. All right. So last words, um, last words of wisdom for any of them around friendship. Anything that you can think of that we haven't shared that.
Nurture the people in your life. Um, Understand it. You might not get it, but push through to nurture it, work at it. It's like a flower, you gotta water it,
You
and you
gotta
gotta
water it.
put the sun with it.
Don't take it for granted.
No, don't take it for
Ever.
granted.
Ever.
Yeah, and
I mean, I hope you've never felt like I've taken you for
we've
granted.
both taken each other for
Well,
granted in
I'm
life.
sure
Come on,
especially when you were
let's not
younger.
talk about being perfect.
Well, no,
But
I know.
that's but
But not intentional.
No, but we just move on in our own lives and we have to come back. But that's part of what life is you can't expect someone to be in your life 24/7 as a friend
No.
and for expect it to grow. You need to prune it a little bit and then let it grow stronger and get it taken care of and move on.
Yep.
And I think that's for you when you have friends or if you're trying to keep your friends, nurture that and really understand that and have fun with them. Make the stories, create the stories that you can talk about and laugh about later.
For years.
Yes, and then and then just enjoy that part of it, but and then go through the sadness of it too. Go through the mourning process with them, the anger process and all of them. It's not just about fun, it's about being challenged. It's about being angry with someone and then being okay knowing that they're angry with you or you're angry with them and yet you're still going to work it through.
Yep.
It's about having fun. It's about listening. It's about challenging each other. It's about just being in the moment with them and looking them in the eye and going, okay, I get you. And that's it. But it's all those things and supporting each other.
Well, thank you for spending time with me
You're welcome.
doing this with the whole world in front of us. I love you. I cherish you. I adore you. And I couldn't imagine my life without you. So
Ditto, honey. Ditto.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. We'll see you later. Go
Bye.
forth and be fabulous. Bye.
As you move throughout your day, I want to remind you, you don't have to have everything figured out to be moving forward. Thriving isn't about perfection, it's about awareness, small everyday choices, and learning to lead yourself and others with intention. If today's episode resonated, take a moment to reflect, share it with someone who might need it, or simply notice what stood out for you. If you would like to continue the conversation, connect with other thrivers, and find out about up-and-coming events, take a moment to sign up for the Thrive Out Loud community. You can find a link on the Thrive Out Loud landing page on my website at dsauderllc.com. Thanks for being here, and until next time, go forth and be fabulous.